Hi everyone, let's go through some CSS tips for developers. So coming to the first tips, so we should use CSS variables for usability. This for reusability. Okay, so we should always use CSS variables to manage reusable values like colors and fonts, etc. Okay, so it makes code consistent and easy to update across the project. Okay, so these CSS variables save time and efforts when making the global changes. Okay, so let's check with some basic example. We have a root. Let's declare some variable. We have primary color. Let's say primary color. Make it red. Okay, let's say font size. Size 12 pixel. Okay, so how we can use it? Let's go to the body section. Body. Okay, so here we will use color and we will declare this variable here where primary color. Okay, similarly for font size where font size. Okay, so these CSS variables, one is primary color and second is font size. Okay, so these are reusable values for colors and font size, and it makes our code consistent and easy to update. Okay, so instead of using red and 12 pixel every time, we can use this variables. So it saves our effort and time. So now coming to the next tip, use a CSS reset or normalize, we can say. So what does it means? So when we start our project, we should use CSS reset or normalize our file to ensure consistent styling across browsers. Okay, because different browsers apply default styles differently. So a reset helps us to maintain a clean state. Okay, so I will show you how we use it. Let's comment this. I will show you the example of reset. Margin 0, padding 0. Okay, now box sizing, border box. Okay, so this is the example of reset. So it will ensure that our styles look consistent across all the browsers. Okay, so now coming to the third tip, we will discuss this box sizing, why we use it. So we should use this box sizing property. Why? To make our layouts predictable. So this box sizing, it will ensure padding and borders are included in the elements width and height, and it prevents layout issues. Okay, so this box sizing, what it will do, it will ensure padding and borders are included in the elements width and height to prevent the layout issues. Okay, so this box sizing, it makes easier to calculate elements dimensions accurately. Now coming to the next tip, use flexbox for responsive layouts. Okay, so we should use flexbox for creating flexible and responsive layouts. The flexbox simplifies the alignment and distribution of elements, making layout dynamic and easy to manage. I will show you the example of layout, how we use the CSS. Suppose we have a div and we give the class as container. So here to use flexbox, we need to use display flex. Okay. And here we have justify content. Let's make it center. Align items, center. We can give height also 100 ph. Okay. So this flexbox is perfect for aligning items and creating modern layouts. So all the topics of the CSS I have explained in my earlier videos. You can go through that. Here I have explained the detailed flex layouts. Okay. So now coming to next step, we have, so we should minimize the use of not important. Use of important. You have observed when you are coding, like we use not important multiple times. So we must avoid overusing it in our CSS. Okay. So first of all, what it does, not important, it overrides all other styles, but excessive use, it makes debugging difficult. That's why we should avoid it. Let's see it with code. Suppose we have a button. Okay. And here we use background color. Let's say earlier it was pink. Now we want to override it to red. Okay. So we use not important. Okay. To override it. But instead of this, we should use, let's say we have a button inside container. So we should use dot container button. Okay. Background color red. Instead of not important, we should use selectors. This is the selector. Inside container we have button and change the background color of button to red. Okay. So we should use specific selectors for better structure and maintainability. Okay. Now coming to next step. Use shorthand properties. Okay. So we should use CSS shorthand properties to make our code concise. So shorthand properties, it combines multiple values into a single declaration. Let's see it with some code. Comment it. Let's say we have margin top 10 pixel. Margin top 10. Okay. Let's say we have a div. And we are using margin top 10 pixel. Okay. Similarly for right, margin right, we have 20 pixel. Margin bottom, we have, let's say 10 pixel, and margin left, we have 20 pixel. Okay. So instead of using multiple values, okay, we should declare it in a single declaration. Okay. Let's see how we do it. Margin 10 pixel, 20 pixel. Okay. So this 10 pixel, this first parameter, it will be for margin top and margin bottom. And second one is for margin right and margin left. Okay. So instead of the first one, we should use this shorthand property. This is the shorthand property of CSS. Okay. So it keeps our CSS neat and clean. Now coming to next step. Use relative units like percentage and EM. Okay. So we should prefer this relative units like EM, REM and percentage for scalable designs. Okay, so these relatable units adapt to different screen sizes and user settings better than the fixed units. Fixed units like say pixels. Okay, so I will show you. Suppose we have a in body we have font size. We are giving font size to the body section as to all the elements. Let's say 20 pixels. Okay, so now in heading we can use this font size as relative element. Let's say we have 2 em. Okay, so it will make the font size as 2 into 20, that is 2 multiply 20, that is 40 pixels. Okay, so these relative units makes our design more flexible and accessible. Okay, so now coming to the next step, we should optimize our CSS for the performance. Optimize for performance. Okay, so we should write optimized CSS by combining the selectors. So optimized CSS, it reduces the file size and it improves the page loading speed. Let's see how we can do it. Let's comment this. Suppose we have a h1 class. In h1 we have, let's say, font size 24 pixels and color, let's say blue. Okay, similarly we have h2. Here we have, let's say, font size 20 pixels and color is same blue. Okay, so as you can see, this color is blue for both h1 and h2. Okay, so instead of declaring it multiple times for both h1 and h2, we should use h1, h2, okay, color blue. Okay, so it will reduce the CSS file size because we can remove this color from h1 and h2 and can combine h1 and h2 and will use the same color property. Okay, so it will optimize the CSS by reducing the file size and also it will improve the page loading speed. Okay, so it will keep our style sheets lightweight and fast. Now coming to the next tip, use media queries for responsive design. Okay, so we should use media queries to create styles for different screen sizes, like for laptop, tablets, mobile devices. Okay, so it will ensure our website looks good for all the devices from phones to laptops. Okay, I will show you with example. So we have a body. Here we have declared font size as, let's say, 16 pixel. Okay, and we can write media queries. Okay, and say we have a media maximum width, we can say max width, let's say 700 pixels. Okay, so it will be basically a mobile device, so we want font size as smaller because for mobile devices we should have lesser font size as compared to desktop. Let's say we are giving 12 pixels. Okay, we can make it in the body. Okay, body. Okay, so this is how we can use media queries and we can specify the width here based on the size of the devices available. Okay, so this one example of the mobile device. Okay, and for the laptops we can write it at 1500 pixels, max width 1500 pixels. Okay. Now coming to the next tip. Next tip is we should comment our CSS code. Comment CSS code. Okay. So we should add comments to explain the purpose of our styles. Okay. So comments makes our code more understandable and easier to maintain. Let's see how we can. So here we can write media queries for mobile devices. And okay, so it will help. This is how our team and ourselves also to understand the code faster.